At one time, every oil pump jack had a pit next to it. That was before they had unitized the fields. And so everything had a pit, and the birds would see this because we're desert or semi-desert area. The birds would think this was water, and they would come down to that. The game warden, federal game warden and I, Rob Lee, we went down to a big pit, and they had cleaned out, the oil company had come in and cleaned out one of the pits, and there was a pile about this high, and it was almost all bones. Millions and millions of birds in there. The bird can't, the insulation is actually when they fluff or they have an airspace in between, and that's what keeps the bird warm or cool. And it doesn't work like that if the feathers are oiled. And just of the ducks population, we were losing over 1 million just ducks here in West Texas a year because of the oil field. I was going to a railroad commission hearing, and I was taking, when all this was happening, and I was going through the airport, and I was taking some of these oiled ducks with me. They had been frozen in the freezer, and I had them in a carry-on, one of these little carry-on canvas bags with ice stuff in there, frozen bottles of ice. And when it went through the machine, their x-ray machine, the lady looked at me, looked back in there, looked at me, and looked back in there, and never said a word, and I never said a word, and we went on through. But, it was a horror story out here, and nobody wanted to do anything about it. And it took 12 years before we got anything really done. The Texas Parks and Wildlife really couldn't do anything because of the politics here in Texas. And we had to get Fish and Wildlife in. Once it showed that this was a great killing area for birds, U.S. Fish and Wildlife could then say, you're illegally taking birds, and under the Migratory Treaty Act. And so they gave the oil companies so many months, or I think it was like 1.5 years, to go ahead and get netting put over the tanks and the pits, or get rid of the pits.